So if you're watching this video right now, it means you've already watched part 1 to our series where we are visiting local builders in the San Antonio area that are offering some very unique opportunities for veterans to achieve homeownership. And if you haven't watched part 1 of the video yet, you need to pause this one and jump over to this guy's channel where we got the opportunity to tour Roush Coleman at Randolph Crossing and check out a very cool model home that would offer a very cool opportunity for a veteran family or an active duty family PCSing to the area. Before we jump into any details, we need to address the elephant in the room. Normally, you guys only see me on camera, but today I have a special guest, a very good friend of mine, Chris with Housify. He's a local real estate professional in the San Antonio area. Chris, thank you for being here, or actually thank you for letting me be here in your office.
Yes, no worries.
So tell us a little bit about you and your team.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a big real estate team here in the San Antonio, kind of Austin, Central Texas area. We specialize a lot in new home construction sales. So we are always helping our clients save the most money possible when they buy new home construction in our area. And so we are always looking to team up with people like Josh, who of course are really, really in there with our veterans, making sure that you guys are getting the best deals, the best loans, the best opportunities, and of course getting these great payments and really good buying scenarios, right? Like really, really good opportunities to not put a lot of money down and get some of these benefits. So that's what we do. And like he said, definitely check us out at the Rebate Guy. That's our channel where you'll see part 1 of this video where we'll actually tour one of these amazing homes. And I think today we're going to talk about, kind of what the numbers look like on that. We walked the home and we talked about the quality and things like that in part 1. And so today
I'm ready to move in. So
hey, there we go. So today we're going to talk about what it looks like on the lending side, because we help you find the property and get a great deal, but it comes down to Josh to put it all together and get you in there.
Yeah. So the first thing I would say when it comes to looking at what you are trying to accomplish with buying a home is first always getting pre-approved. That is always step 1, because it's going to allow you to identify what payment you're even comfortable with, what fits your budget and your lifestyle. Focusing on the purchase price doesn't really tell you that story. So stopping and getting that pre-approval to find what payment fits my lifestyle and then working backwards towards that price will allow you to get a better understanding of your comfort zone. Now, obviously with the budget with the home that we visited, we obviously have already a home that we're going to break some numbers down on. So we're already using a realistic scenario, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Based on the sales price, what home, how much would that home be?
Yeah, absolutely.
In today's market. I know we're December of 2023, right? So things can change and into going into January, whether it's up or down, right? But like in this current time right now, what would you say how much that home is?
Yeah, absolutely. So the home that we walked, for those who skipped just into part 2, was a mid-2000s square feet, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story, a lot of room in that home. And we're about anywhere from like the high 290s to about 308, 310, depending on, again, the level of upgrades you put in it. But for example, today, let's use like a 308, 310 price.
A little bit more of a worst case scenario anyway. So that way, if it is less, then it's better, right?
You're right.
So if we're looking at that at a $310,000 range, the first thing we're going to look at from there is we're going to treat this as if you're an active duty service member that is PCSing to the area. You've never used your VA loan, right? So at $308,000 with principal and interest is what we're going to factor in first. And that's going to be the principal balance of your loan and then your interest rate. Your principal and interest payment is probably going to be looking at about $1,988 to, let's just say, almost $2,000. So just a little under $2,000 for your principal and interest payment. Now, that's not the only thing that you're going to have in your payment. You're still going to have things like taxes property taxes, homeowners insurance, and then there is a small HOA on this property, which wasn't anything crazy, but that's going to encompass the total payment. So inside your total payment for your principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and the HOA, you're going to be looking at $2,558. So just under $2,600 for a brand new house in San Antonio, Texas. You said just under 2,000 or almost?
I think about mid 2,000 square feet.
Mid 2,000 square feet. I think that was a 4-bedroom?
Yes, 4-bedroom, 2 full baths. So tons of space in there.
And that yard was massive. So that was another thing that stuck out to me personally. But in this market, that creates a lot of opportunity to get into home ownership, in which we'll talk more about why I say that. Because purchasing a property prior to this market, a lot of buyers were basically offering over asking, not getting much incentives, where now we're seeing a lot of opportunity for incentives to be offered to buyers that is going to allow them to cover what's called your closing costs, which are the upfront fees or costs that you're going to have to pay to be able to purchase a house. So on this property, do you know roughly about how much incentives you think would be available to somebody right now? And again, using this kind of current time frame of December range?
Yeah, absolutely. So we, of course, as your real estate professional, it's our job to get you the most amount of incentive possible, right? There's what the builder advertises, and then there's, of course, what we can do. I would say that right now, on a builder at this price point in San Antonio, you're averaging at least $10,000 that we're able to kind of get on one of these. So 10,000 is a pretty realistic number that allows you to get.
So that does a lot for you, because what he's saying is essentially the builder is offering you $10,000 to be put towards the upfront cost of your home purchase. Now, what this will allow you to do is, one, have more money left in your bank account that you didn't have to fork out to be able to buy your house. Two, it allows you to have some money to either pay off closing costs and even possibly pay off some debt if you have some money left over from that $10,000. And here's what I mean by that. When I break down the closing costs that I'm estimating on purchasing this house, you're going to be looking at right around $7,500 to $7,600. So you're going to have basically about $2,500 left over that can be used to either buy your interest rate down to lower your monthly payment, or even be used to, again, pay off some of your debt. Maybe you have a credit card bill that you want to get rid of. You can do that. Anytime you have excess credit, it can be used towards things like paying off your debt, or even be used to pay off future HOA payments, so that you don't have to worry about like an HOA dues for a year. I've even seen people pay them off for 2 years.
That's crazy.
So that's one route you can go. Another option you can use it for is what's called a temporary buy down. And a temporary buy down is very similar to how it sounds, where your rate that you have it, let's say, was 6.5%. For the first year, or even possibly the first 2 years, your rate is going to be fixed at a lower amount.
Okay.
So if you do, let's say, a 1 year buy down, what'll happen is, instead of you having 6.5% for year one is going to be 5.5%.
Got it.
So what that'll allow you to do is basically save $200 a month in year one. But in year two and every year after that, you'll go back to the 6.5%. And that's going to be your rate, using the same payment we mentioned earlier, the $2,558, for the remainder of your loan term. Now, why somebody would do this is going to be to take advantage of the possibility of being able to refinance before you actually hit that second year.
Got it. Which makes it looks like it's possible.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so just in the last week, I would say probably about a week and a half ago, the Federal Reserve announced that in 2024, they are going to be doing 3 rate cuts throughout the year. Now, how much those cuts are going to be, how often they're going to do them in the year, that's to be determined. You know, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't obviously forecast that entirely. But just 1 year prior to where we are now, we were hearing the opposite, which is be prepared for more hikes, which they
did have.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then some, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that there's going to be opportunity for interest rates to come down, which means there's going to be opportunity for you to refinance as time goes on. Some buyers would sit back and say, well, I might as well wait, right, Chris? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
But what happens if I wait?
Prices are going up. I saw an email from a big builder here in town, not the builder we're talking about in this video, but I saw one from another builder. They build in the $400,000 to $600,000 price range, and they basically said, hey, guys, if you're working anybody, tell them to put pen to the paper, because now that the builders in Texas know that rates are going down, they've been building homes on very, very tight margins for the last year, because they've had to throw so much money at the incentives, like Josh was saying, to get people the competitive rates and deals that they needed to buy a home in this market. Now that they know that rates are coming down, price hikes are coming. January 1 is when you're going to start to see it. I expect to see that most of the builders in our metro area will take a price increase within the first 60 days of next year. And after February, I would expect that there isn't a builder left in San Antonio that probably hasn't taken one.
Right. And it's probably going to continue. Usually, I would say the springtime we call PCS season.
Yes, absolutely.
So
it's literally a scale, right? You've seen like the whole scale of justice or whatever. It's exactly like this, right? right now you've got crazy rates. Rates are pulling you down over here, right? And so prices are pretty low, right? But as rates start to come down, the prices scale is going to increase, right? And so you're going to have your prices start going up as those scales kind of counterbalance.
Yeah.
So people think that there's this mythical unicorn where you get both, right? You get a low price and you get a low rate.
Right. Yeah.
And the perfect time doesn't really exist. The best time is now in a transitory period where you've got those last lingering, opportunities on pricing, but then now you're going to start coming into the low rates. And so you'll be able to kind of lock into something lower or even refinance. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on the VA, there's actually the ability to do kind of a streamline refinance, right? And how does that work?
So the VA Streamline Refinance, I would say, is probably the most unique loan option that exists, because it's even better than just doing a VA purchase, really, because of how easy it is for veterans to achieve it. The only thing that is required to do a VA Streamline Refinance is, one, your interest rate on the new loan is going to be at least 0.5% less than your current rate. So if you're locked in at 6.5%, rates continue to trend down, which they are, and it's an opportunity for you to refinance. As long as your new rate is 6% or less, then that's one option there. The next one is any costs associated with doing the refinance. You have to be able to recuperate those within the first 36 months of the new loan. I have my own personal rule when I do it for my clients. I actually want it to be 24 months or less. And that's just more because I know that I'm setting you up for success to actually win and reap a reward from this new loan. Another thing that is also there is no income verification, no asset verification. All they have to do is make sure you still have a job and that you've made your mortgage payment on time. You have no mortgage rates within the last 12 months.
Wow.
So it is essentially like the easiest loan that you can really do. It's pretty hard to get denied. And it's another thing is there actually isn't even a minimum credit score.
That's crazy.
So knowing that you have that opportunity to streamline refinance allows you to take advantage of, like what Chris is saying, the market, one, right? Because you're buying currently right now where prices are and not having to worry about the possibility of prices increasing, which, as you mentioned, sounds like is not just a possibility, it's happening.
Correct.
But two, you know that you're locking in the price that you're paying and having the opportunity to streamline refinance later.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm sure people are sick of seeing those social media posts of the whole date the rate, marry the house, right?
I hate that phrase.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But here's one thing I will say, right? At this point, you have the federal government that's basically raising their hand saying, hey, we're going to do this, right? Before, when people were posting that, they didn't know if it was going to be 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. People were guessing. You're going to have a very real reason that this is going to happen, right? And even if, gosh, forbid, there's some crazy economic downturn, the last thing that they're going to do in an economic downturn is raise the rates.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rates are going to come down. And so it really is, a fairly safe time. If you're a betting person, gambling person, it's a pretty safe bet to expect that, home prices are going to increase and rates are going to decrease between now and October when or November when the primaries are.
And I think also, just to your point, if you're buying a property with the intention of long-term gain, you're pretty much making a safe bet.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're buying a property with the intention of trying to, flip this house and make a buck in 2 or 3 years, I don't care what anyone says. That's a very risky play.
Yes,
it just is. It's just a fact, right? And so my personal opinion about real estate is what I tell every one of my clients. If you're buying real estate to own it as a long-term investment, you're making a great one. And as long as the home that you're purchasing fits your budget, fits your lifestyle, and the payment is something that you can afford, it is a good time to buy. If rates go up twice as high as where they are right now, if it fits your payment, fits your budget, fits your lifestyle, it's a good time to buy. That's how I always focus on getting someone approved, is making sure that those things are answered, because those are the things that you can control every single day. We can't control interest rates. We can't control home prices. We can't control the president, the Federal Reserve. We can't control any of those things. We're all going along for the ride in the same ship.
So that makes a lot of sense. Well, I think that kind of like in summary, right, between part 1 and part 2, why we did this series is we want people to know that homeownership, especially for the veteran community in San Antonio, is still very achievable. Even this payment of $2,500, this is for one of the larger homes that builder offers in that community. It's the second largest floor plan that they have there. They actually offer square footages down to like the 12, 13, 1400 range, which are going to put your all-in payment, like Josh was saying, the PITI, well under that $2,500 mark, and probably pretty close to $200,000 when you start getting into those purchase prices in the 260s, 270s, which they very well hit in that community. And so, know that between what we're doing here on the real estate side and what Josh is doing on the lending side, there are so many opportunities for you to own a home that your BAH is covering mostly, entirely, and then some. I mean, and it's just crazy when, we find out that customers are living, choosing to live in base housing and just kind of lighting their BAH on fire every single month, because even if it didn't cover, right, even if your BAH was $2,000 and your mortgage here, like Josh said, was $2,580, for $580 of your pay, that you guys are getting every single month, I mean, there's no better place you could put $580 than
you're putting it into an appreciating asset.
Absolutely, a home.
Your base housing is not appreciating, at least not for you.
No, absolutely.
So yeah, you're putting that money back into yourself and or paying your future self is what I say you're doing too. So I completely agree with that.
Absolutely. So, as far as like kind of like an action item to kind of, leave people with, right? If somebody is watching this video and they want to potentially look at one of these things, one of these homes, right, at these builders and doing something, what are the steps, right? What do we do?
Yeah. Well, the step one is first getting pre-approved. Know where you're at. As I mentioned in the beginning, let's find out where you're at. And if you aren't ready to buy a home, that's perfectly fine. But still finding out where you're at today is going to allow us to identify maybe what needs to be worked on to get you to where you want to go.
Got it.
Once we know where you're at pre-approval wise, you get to talk to this guy right here. I'm like his bodyguard. I screen people for him. I'm just kidding. But what he's going to then do is take you to a place like Rausch-Coleman, take you to Randolph Crossing, take you to other places, maybe if you're, PCSing to a different part of the city.
Yep.
And allow you to see homes, areas that fit you and your family's needs. But those two steps, once you have done those, you'd be surprised how quickly after you're going to be getting a set of keys handed to you.
Absolutely.
To your house. And then we come over to your house for your housewarming party.
Let's go. We're there.
And bring tamales and tacos and stuff. So yeah, that's basically how it works.
Absolutely.
Pre-approved, buy house, tacos and tamales.
Let's do it. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think it's an incredible experience. I think it's an easy process. And I think that it's something that we want them to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you guys have not already watched that first video, do me a favor, jump back over to this guy's channel. I am going to link it everywhere up here down below in the description so that you guys can go ahead and check out that video, because the house was really awesome. It was really cool to check out just what they had going on over there and all the stuff that they are doing for the veteran community with that particular builder. You guys know how to reach me. If you want to reach this guy, I'm also going to have his information in the description below. And yeah, I appreciate you guys checking out this video and this series with us, and I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. No, hey, thank you for having me this time on your channel. So I appreciate you, man, and we'll continue throughout the year to go visit some more spots and run some other scenarios.
Let's do it, man.
All right. Well, so guys, please like and subscribe to Josh's channel. As always, again, I'm at the Rebate Guy, so definitely give us a like and a sub as well. We're trying to get our channel to be as cool as Josh's.
But and gave me the massive plug on my own channel. I appreciate it. I'm going to cut that and put it in all of my videos.
All of your videos. Well, thank you guys. And any final words?
No, man. Thank you. Thank you for your time, man.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next video. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Later.